Let Me Kiss Your Face, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. The thumbnail image was drawn by Roan on Instagram. You can find a link to her Instagram in the description box. Don't forget to go give her a lot of love. She also has a Twitter that I'm going to link as well. Really great art. You would be doing yourself a favor if you go ahead and give her a follow on Instagram. She has some really great art out there, guys. Go check her out. If you haven't listened to chapter 1 already, go ahead and do that. I know that YouTube tends to recommend things out of order sometimes, and that's okay. If you are coming back with chapter 2 and you've already seen chapter 1, thank you so much for enjoying it enough to find another video for it. Now then, leaving a comment really helps to support the channel. If you don't know what to comment, just put "Let Me Kiss Your Face." And please enjoy chapter 2. Marinette Dupang Chang. To say Marinette was embarrassed of her whims would be an understatement. Why had she kissed Cat Noir in the first place anyway? It was because she liked him. Well, it was because she was worried she liked him, actually. So, armed with some bad advice, Marinette kissed him. She kissed him quite dramatically, actually, once she had the opportunity to do so. She couldn't kiss him as a ladybug, of course, because what if she didn't like it? What if she realized her feelings were just hormones once they touched lips? She didn't want to risk her partnership for that. Naturally, the only thing to do was kiss him as Marinette. What an idiot. She realized now the hundreds of other ways she could have approached this dilemma, and Cat Noir showing up on her balcony after it was all said and done only complicated things further. "Marinette!" Tiki exploded, digging herself out of her hiding place from when Cat appeared. "What has gotten into you? You could have revealed your identity!" From the Dark Cupid bit? He doesn't have any memory of it. Sure, he found out he shared a kiss with a ladybug from an interview, but who's to say he didn't kiss more girls? He doesn't know the full story of that fight. Tiki grunted, but nodded nonetheless. Marinette would accept anything the Kwami had to say. She knew she'd been reckless, and now she was in a relationship with him? What was going on? Ugh, it was like she had secondhand embarrassment, but for herself. What made it worse yet was it wasn't a bad kiss. She actually enjoyed kissing Cat Noir quite a bit. But did that mean she liked him? Oh, what a mess. Who knew telling Alia she might be getting the feels for another boy would develop into this? Her stomach protested the idea of telling her what happened today. Never again would she take her best friend's unsolicited advice. Never again would she take her best friend's unsolicited advice. The girl ran a gossip blog, after all. And now he was going to pick her up tomorrow for bowling. Marinette couldn't remember the last time she went bowling. She must have been 6 at the oldest. Wasn't bowling meant for old men who wanted to spend the evening away from their wives in an unadulterated way? In line with her luck, Marinette had a terrible time getting up in the morning. Not only did the curtain of sleep blind her from getting ready, but Cat arrived punctually and sat on her chase as she painted her face with concealer and mascara, as though watching your date get ready was a totally normal thing. A half hour later, transported via rooftop, Marinette found herself tying up her wind-tossed hair at the counter of a bowling alley as Cat Noir checked out bowling shoes for the two of them. The clerk thought he was a cosplayer, and Marinette laughed off the Inquisition as she tied on silly-looking shoes that, if she were with Alia instead, would make it onto an Instagram story. But, despite the whispers of him being a cosplayer, Marinette noticed the wandering eyes in the alleys. The children stared outright, but it was easy to see the adults gossiping, despite keeping their murmurs low and their glances nonchalant. "Strike!" Marinette gave Cat Noir a strange look as he punched the air. "What?" "I got a strike!" Cat pointed down the lane. "This isn't baseball. Wrong sport." Cat's smile didn't fade. If anything, it grew wider at her remark. You've never bowled before, have you? Not since elementary. A shame. Cat sat down, clearly amused at her ignorance. It looks like this won't be a competition, then. Oh, yeah? The note of challenge in his voice evoked 1,000 fiery bees in her chest, buzzing to sting him with her victory. It was just bowling. Surely she could win against a cat. You're on. Oh? Cat leaned forward in amusement. Your terms? What would you like? If I win? He mulled over as her patience wore thin. A kiss. A kiss? She scoffed at the idea, although it wasn't a bad one. Say she developed feelings for him down the road as Ladybug. Surely she'd rue the day she turned down a kiss from him then. Marinette knew that wasn't good logic, but her heart fluttered at the idea, despite not coming to terms with the feelings she'd grown for this boy. You're on. And it's your turn. She picked up a bowling ball from the rack and turned to walk onto the lane, only to feel his hands restrain her shoulders. Is there something wrong? She asked, giving him a puzzled stare. Use a heavier ball. He gestured to a rich blue one on the rack, marked twice as heavy as the one she chose. Then I won't be able to throw it well. Trust me, use the heavier one. Marinette thought about it for a moment, looking down at the pink marble bowling ball. This is good, she said, stepping onto the lane. Marinette aimed, wound up, and launched the ball down the lane, happy to see it going down the middle until it curved into the gutter, less than a meter from the pins. Her face flushed, but she didn't hear any teasing from Cat. Instead, he pointed her back to the return to wait for her ball. No worries, that's why you get 2 chances, he said. She felt her heart blush at his encouragement and nodded, stone-faced. Unfortunately, her second attempt wasn't any better. If anything, it was worse. Cat looked at the bowling ball he gestured to earlier, sighed, and picked his up from the return. Yes! He clapped his hands into a fist pump. Another strike! Marinette restrained herself from laughing. Grabbing her pink ball, she stepped up to the lane and bowled. Not a single pin moved from her efforts, and she groaned. She tried again, refusing to make eye contact with Cat, for the same results. Great. He was probably smug and, I'll help you with your posture next round, okay? He said, stepping beside her to take his turn. He took his turn with what was probably perfect form, which irritated her further as he exclaimed something about a turkey before freezing and coughing it off. It's fine. Celebrate whatever it is you started dancing about. Cat turned to her, a bit sheepish. I've never gotten a turkey before. Like, for dinner? No, that couldn't be it. Another bowling term? You don't know too much about bowling, do you? Why do you like this? She said, hoping to flip the mood with a little teasing. Are you secretly a grandpa underneath that mask, old man? Why? Do I come off as a wise old soul? Marinette laughed. Her heart lightened. He was quick at comebacks, that was for sure. You wish. She reached for her pink ball and hesitated. You said I should use a heavier one? He nodded to the blue one. Just try it, please. Well, who could say no to that jawline? Marinette picked up the bowling ball that reminded her of Luca's hair and stepped up to aim. To her surprise, she knocked over pins. She knocked over 4 pins. Unexpectedly, Marinette found herself giggling. Great! See? Marinette whipped around to see Cat's smug smile. I can do this! 5 pins? Not bad. 5? He jutted his chin at the screen. It shows you. That it did. Marinette stepped back to the lane, readying her aim when she felt Cat behind her. No, like this, he said, his voice soft in her ear. Goodness. Yes, he was Cat, but she kept forgetting that she might have feelings for this guy. Hypersensitive to his touch, she didn't say anything as Cat adjusted her shoulders and gave her instructions that went in one ear and out the other as she paid more attention to his breath on her cheeks instead of words for her ears. Okay, thanks. Her response didn't come out the way she wanted it to, but oh well. It did what she needed it to. It got Cat Noir off her back. She rolled the ball, barely aiming, and stepped off the platform, not bothering to look at the consequence. She heard the silence, recognizing it like an old villain. Cat had this way of using the silence. Instead of rebutting it when she was a brat to him as Ladybug, he would choose to silently accept her words without rebuttal. This was that silence, and she could feel it caress her body like a violating thought. Did I hit any? She asked, not bothering to look. She wanted a response. That's all. Another gutter ball. His footsteps reverberated through the floor as he left the lane. Aren't you going to go? Let's get ice cream instead. Cat wiped down the balls they used before returning them to the rack as Marinette stared. She hadn't been that bad, had she? Oh, fool! She should have been a better date. Why had she acted so stubborn? So, you forfeit your kiss? He looked up, mostly in surprise, she supposed, and opened his mouth to reply. His hesitation took her off guard as well. What is it with you and kisses? Well, they were good kisses. It wasn't what she wanted to reply with, but it was the only retort she had at the moment. That's true. She felt herself blush as he grinned. They were good kisses. Ice cream? Marinette echoed his suggestion to get out of the conversation. Sure, but first... He stepped in as she knelt to unlace her shoes. Before she had the time to blush, Cat pressed his lips to her cheeks. I believe I won the game. He spun around and offered a hand to help her up. Of like 3 rounds, she shot back, taking his offering. Surprisingly, Cat didn't let go as he led her through the bowling alley and onto the street, despite wandering eyes. Well, most people thought he was a cosplayer anyway, so it looked like a weeaboo on a date, or a supportive girlfriend with her fanatic boyfriend. Wait. Boyfriend? No. Marinette shook the thought out of her head, already hot at the thought. Unfortunately, it confirmed what she dreaded. She liked Cat. Marinette, despite knowing better, liked Cat Noir. Oh, sugar and cookies. This was trouble. Thank you so much for listening. Part 3 is on the way. If you are still listening to the outro, comment trouble in the comment section, and I will catch you in part 3. Bye!